Yeah, now stand and cheer for your BBL Weekly.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast, BBL Weekly. That's a mouthful and a half.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back with a show that we thought we had ended the season.
But
we're
Paul
back.
is not allowed to end his season. You know how much Paul likes to end everything, but not really.
Oh, I thought, hang on. We're going from BBL Weekly, the NBA or the Basketball Weekly, plus the interviews, which is quite long. And I thought, that's 3-4 sessions a week we do this. I don't know if people realise that. And then all of a sudden we're just going back to the interviews. So I was like,
Are you got cold turkey? Is that what it is?
no, I was looking forward to the break. That's what I'd say.
I wouldn't look forward to the break. I will say I do miss watching the basketball. I do miss talking about it. And yeah, I mean, have you got one eyebrow?
No, not at all, Mark. I had an accident.
You've got one eyebrow.
Yeah, I had an accident. Had an accident, Mark.
Like Uncle Fester.
Yep. Yep. I had a little bit of a haircut accident as I was cutting my hair. I cut my own hair. Been doing that since COVID.
But we can tell that.
And my son got involved and he changed the clipper thing.
Oh,
I always
so you're blaming him, are you?
No. Well, it could have been my wife as well. But
she'd have done that on purpose.
I don't like, do you know when people got really long eyebrows and
Yeah,
they
me.
just hang over, like when they're hanging over their eye and you're like, man, just give that a little bit of a trim. So I always give mine a little bit trim. I've got a certain
the attachment thing you click on.
a certain thing on the razor. Anyway, that was removed without me focusing, and I just went oh shit. But
And
look,
why did you not do the other one and then you go like they both look the same? Because having just the one makes it stand out.
because
I can't stop looking at it now.
I believe I've got to a point in my life where I do not care. I've got to a stage in my life where you can have a discussion and I can hear people saying 1 + 1 is 5, and I'll go, you are 100%. Enjoy your life.
It's like
Goodbye.
that eye's a little bit sadder.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
So everyone was thinking they're going to hear about basketball today, but not about
I
shaving.
have one eyebrow. Hey, look, it'll be back. Like the BBL Weekly, it'll be back in 2 weeks.
So I read a thing. I know we had a recent interview with Derby Trailblazers head coach, former rather. One of the things I read about on the
Matt Shaw.
yeah, but on their
I think he's there till Christmas.
yes, I
But he's
believe
bringing
so.
in the next in line.
There'll be a
take
handover,
over.
won't there?
Yeah, I think.
But he just didn't confirm for the next season because he can't do that.
Off to the States.
But I thought it
Really quickly, good luck to Matt and
Yeah.
the GB Lions. They're about to go out to Italy for the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, good luck to everyone. Keith, he's out there
Big
with the
Keith's
over
out there.
50s.
Keith's got a very exciting T-shirt that he showed me.
Hey, he is looking trim.
He is.
He put a photo out and I was like, damn, he's been working out.
He's worked out. Yeah, fair play to you, Keith.
He's all those teams, they're ready to roll.
Yeah, out there for the Masters. They got some tough games that they've got picked against, but in their grouping.
GB Lions have, I can't comment on the rest, but yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah.
Good luck to them all. I'm not jealous one bit.
No, you're hiding it well.
Yeah.
But look, I was just saying the owner,
Mark
of the team,
Jackson
Yeah,
out there
Mark
with
Jackson's
the
out
over
there.
45s as well.
Yeah,
I think they call it the GB Brotherhood. They're out there. Pretty sure that's what the name is. Yeah, he told us all about it as well when he was on the podcast.
well,
Good luck to him.
we'll ask
He's a
Mark to
bloody
come back
legend,
in.
isn't he?
Yeah, we'll ask Mark to come back in. I'm sure he will. Just tell us how it's all going.
He's one of those guys, I think, that is always promoting basketball.
Yep.
No matter what it is. And I love to see that.
And shout out to Nick and some of the other
He's
guys.
been
who are
very
out there.
nice to us.
Yeah.
I've said that many times. He's been very nice to us.
Well, there's a few guys who've sent some messages through, and shout out to them. They know who they are. I won't name them just in case, but they're out there on the teams doing their thing, and we support you guys as much as you support us. It's really appreciated, and we hope you do well and have a good tournament, if nothing else, because it's really good for us to go back and say we've got GB teams going out there. It can't but help the sport, and especially as it is in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, well, on that note, Mark, the reason the BBL Weekly is back, let's do it. What's happened?
Yeah.
Something's happened.
It's kind of like having your Netflix show cancelled, I guess, isn't it? So everyone in the industry will obviously understand that you have to have a licensee and licensor, etc. And the British Basketball Federation actually came together and decided that they were going to cancel the license. So I will read the statement in brief, which says, as a licensor of the British Basketball League, the British Basketball Federation has been monitoring the financial position of Basketball League Limited, which is BLL. And they're the ones who own the league, run the league, etc. The company who has responsibility for operating the men's professional league. And after all the consolidation, they will basically cancel that license. So it's unanimously been agreed. And that's not just with the federation. The federation is made up of a lot of people and a lot of the other teams that are in the BBL. So they said they will continue to do everything possible for the fans, players, staff and clubs, interim measures put in place so that the 2024-2025 season will still go ahead with all the stakeholders. And I think that's the first thing you've got to say. It's not that the league is over. The league is coming back. We're going to have a league. It's something, we're going to have basketball back in October.
Yeah, and in whatever form that is, you're going to have all the same teams in a league.
Most likely.
You know what? This was a funny moment for me, and I haven't asked you actually. This was, when this happened, it was the first moment I've ever had in my life where I felt a little bit like Matt Morgan after he just won the BBL playoffs, because my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Bling, bling, bling. And I was at a point where I can't actually respond to everyone because so many people were like that. I had a handful of conversations with people, but it absolutely went nuts. And I was like, the reason I was going to say that, because I was like, wow, this actually must mean that the show's doing really well.
Yep.
Like the podcast. But yeah, it was, it got a bit overwhelming, I'd say. But again, the main thing what you said that I held on to on that statement is, look, the league's coming back.
Yep, 100%. And like you just said there, one, it's brilliant that everyone listens to the show. Thank you so much. And we love interacting with people. So the more messages and stuff we get, however, we joke and say it's infuriating.
Yeah, send it to ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com with pictures.
No pictures. I don't want pictures.
Artwork, Mark.
Artwork's cool, and I've had a couple of pictures with jerseys and stuff, so yeah, that's cool, but I don't want to just send pictures, because that just opens a bad can of worms.
Don't send pictures unless you really want to.
Yeah, of eyebrows. Send pictures of eyebrows to Paul. But I love the fact that there was that much of an initial reaction, because you go,
yeah, people get the crap.
People care.
Yeah.
There is a whole fan base out there. So if you are, whoever you are, the potential investors, they should take positive in that. Now look, we don't know all the information. There's lots of information flying out there, and I think I can say on your behalf that we are not going to put any information out there that we don't know. So unless we know something and someone said this is what's happening, we won't talk about it, because it's just all conjecture and it's just nonsense some of the time. But what you can read and you can go see for yourself is that 777, who owns the league, and they also own London Lions, they've had some financial sticky wickets recently, and they had a bid for the Everton Football Club that went horribly wrong.
Denied.
And it actually exposed, because of the way that they did it, it then exposed the House of Cards.
You want to go into the Premier League, you got to go for, are Everton in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to go through due diligence. I mean, here in Portsmouth, we know how that feels. We got relegated from the Premier League because of our owner and the financial situation. We got relegated, I want to say 3 seasons in a row from the Premier League. We went all the way down to League 2.
Yeah. So it was the Premier League who were raising the flag. The FA actually approved the sale, which is quite interesting because he goes, so the actual governing body, they went, okay, but it's the top of the people in the league went, we need to see how sustainable this is. That's when it got called up. And then suddenly it was like the house of cards, and it's, you can't go into things because of obviously there's legal things going on, and I think there's like 17 cases of potentially fraudulent activity.
Allegedly.
And everything's alleged, of course. But what's really, the bottom line is they didn't have the money to pay for it, or thereabouts. And so the people who were going to do the money didn't do the money. And then you go, the whole part of the agreement was that it was supposed to be a sustainable business. And it's our favourite word we talk about basketball. It's got to be sustainable. The one thing is can you buy this football club and sustain it for the X amount of years? I mean, who'd want to do that? The amount of money that they have to pay in football. Like the bridging loan was 180 million. The whole sale was like 660 million. I mean, it's crazy money you're talking about. Crazy amounts of money.
So that's kind of flagged whatever up. What are we talking?
So what we're now talking now is they've got all these things that are kicking off. The people at the head of it is all sort of filtered and disappeared. The money that's owed to the actual league, which then runs down to the players and clubs.
They owe the league money?
Yeah.
How
Well,
much?
they are the league.
So they owe themselves money?
Well, effectively, because they own the league. But the league itself obviously operates under this company. And that company then pays out to arenas and pays to clubs and pays staff and things like that.
I do know
And
allegedly
Yeah.
that they were slow on payments sometimes, allegedly.
Well, they paid a day before the creditors were going to not start
Allegedly.
the league. No, that's exactly what happened.
Oh.
Because that's actually out there in public domain.
Oh, right.
The last-
Okay. I was tiptoeing around the subject.
No, so the last payment, the chairman of the league actually wrote a letter saying we might not be able to start. So the season that just went, they weren't even going to start the season because they said we're late on payments, like by quite a lot, and that's enough money that we can't run the league. You can't afford to. So we were going to like can the league, or it may have been like, when the BBL NBA did a lockout and they did that whole thing and they did a late start in December.
Oh, yeah.
It might have been something that had done that, but they were literally like, this is the case. Then a payment appeared, I think it was like the day or two before. They were going to say, we're going to have to quit. And so there's an official letter that went out from the chairman of the BBL. And by that point, a lot of the clubs had got round. So this whole season, a lot of people have been questioning the ownership, shall we say. Like, this doesn't seem to benefit the league.
I think a lot of people have been questioning the relationship from fans to throughout
Now,
the league.
I think all I'm going to say is this, and it's to play devil's advocate, which I think we should fairly do. The British Basketball League has been burnt by investors in the past. And one in particular, I think, was ITV Digital, I think it was, because that went bankrupt. But there was quite a big investment and a lot of money that rode on that related to the basketball. And that financially, I think it was Paul Blake when we interviewed him, he actually said openly that really hit the league.
Yeah, he did.
And that actually put us back like quite a few years. And you think that was, I think, 2004, 2005, that sort of time. So you think when basketball was kicking off then, that was like 2 years after LeBron had been drafted, just to put his perspective on that. So, basketball was still coming off of the 90s hype train with Jordan. Jordan was still probably just retired at that point. But, even then, capitalising on basketball, you were there. And then all that money just went gone. And they just went back to the Stone Age, and a couple of clubs collapsed as a result and various things. So the BBL's had a history of this challenge. So when something went awry at the beginning, they all got worried. Now we've come to this point, everyone's saying that what's going to happen. Then we had the women's team in the Euro basket, won the semi-finals, you're going to the finals. By the way, we just sent a memo out saying you're never going to Europe again.
By the way,
yeah,
doesn't matter if you win it or not.
And then
you're not doing it again.
And then the men's team have had the same thing now. Like,
oh, really?
You're not it's like you're not in Europe now. And you go, what? that's been very recent.
It's just
That's
a
the
cost.
murmur that's come
Yeah.
around saying they've all had this.
It's just looking at it as a cost. Yeah.
all
It's difficult.
all
We've
the
had a few
players
people on
from
who've talked
the
about that.
Lions, a lot of the players from the Lions, if you look at their social media, they're all gone awfully quiet.
Yeah. Well, this is what I get a little, not frustrated or irritated. I just think, man, I just don't get it a little bit. I mean, it's all the teams have put out the same blanket statement, like word for word, with the exception of where the team name goes.
Yep.
So someone has sent out that statement and have just put team name here.
So that was the British Basketball Federation, as I understand it. So the British Basketball Federation are the ones who are like the overlords of basketball in the UK.
So they've written a statement, but then it goes out on behalf of all the teams, and the teams just put their name in. But we're reading all the teams going, oh, okay, everyone's used the exact same wording. Like, okay, who wrote the statement? That's what I'm not a fan of that.
So my guess, and again, no one can corroborate it because everyone's lips are sealed, but I would guess the BBF, who are now part of, GB Basketball, BE, Basketball Wales, Basketball Scotland, they all combine to be BBF, yeah? And it's all about growing basketball in the UK.
Best friends.
Best friends. Super friends. But they would have had a legal team come in, craft that, and said, that's what you're sending out to the league.
But I'm talking from a
fan
basketball
point of view,
fan, you're looking at
junk.
going, oh, come on, man. Like,
if they'd have even said, here's the official stance, you go, fine, that's okay. But if they then went to their fans directly and went,
you haven't got a single...
We will be back. We'll see you in
Well, that's
September.
what that letter does say. We're like, there's going to be a league.
It's not enough. That is just, here's your default thing. This is your CYA, cover your ass. That's what that is. That's the letter saying, legally, we can't say anything because it's all tied up in blah, blah, blah. Now.
But it would be nice, you're right, it would be nice to see a face.
I want the chairman of that club
on
just
the camera going, guys, don't worry about this. We're going to be back.
We're still here.
We're still here.
That's what you got to say, isn't it? We're still here. All the summer camps, we're still here. All the other camps, we're still here. All the time you invested as a fan, all the money you invested as a fan, we are still here. That's all they got to do. And it's like, just still come down.
Statement.
So,
but look, we are comparing, we look at a lot of media for the NBA, for Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Australia, the NBL, NBL 1 and so forth. And sometimes we look at that and go, oh, the BBL, that just do what everyone else is doing.
Yep.
I think they could copy the Australian model, is what I always think.
They could quite easily.
Because that's not...
So I was
you
saying
could have
about
a full-time job and do that.
I was saying about the Trailblazers. The reason I'm going to circle back to that was the chairman of that club said, it always shocks me, Derby Trailblazers chairman, I think it is.
Yeah.
He said, here's the end of the season and it always comes as a shock to me because it's just suddenly season's over. Doom, that's it. And he's been the chairman, I think it was like 7 years or something. And he says, always comes as a shock that suddenly that's the season over. No more games. And then you got no more games until like September,
6
October.
months.
Yeah, and you think, oh, is that it? But no, then you've got all the other prep, you've got all this other stuff going, but the actual games, and we've had Paul Blake on, we've had some others and the coaching and stuff, and they say the games are like 30% of the time. Mark Stuttle said it as well. You've got all of the prep, you've got all the practicing, you've got all the pre-season, you've got all the training, you've got all the strategies, the play, all of that. And then the games are like this amount of time in comparison to the whole year. But we as the fans only see that bit, don't we? So it suddenly goes, here's the end of the season, cut off. Yeah. And that's why I think it's so hard at the moment, because
when you see a blanket statement,
you've had, here's the end of the season, and everyone's like, is that it? And then there's a blanket statement. Now, unfortunately for the league, and I'm going to criticize them a tiny bit here.
Wow.
They started releasing highlights of the final from the playoffs. And they've started putting things out there going, throwback to 2 weeks ago when this happened.
What's wrong with that?
Well, because they didn't do anything around the time when the playoffs happened, which were like
Oh yeah.
four
someone
weeks
was
ago.
probably just on a holiday or something.
Well,
That's probably what it was.
And in the
They'll be like, I'm back. Let me do some editing. There we go.
Yeah. So the problem is they put that out, and a lot of people are like, it's a bit late. And then right the day after that sort of stuff, they started doing that. This announcement comes out about the league and about the other clubs. And so then every other piece of media, you look on socials, every other piece, people will first say, that's nice, bit late. Haven't you got more important things to tell us about, like what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's suddenly, and I feel sorry for the creative people, like you just said about editing. They'd have spent weeks trying to edit that. And the media looks great. There's no question it looks great, but you go, unfortunately, the whole league thing just...
I'd like to see that for every team now.
Yeah, not just London.
Yeah. No, like it's just like for example, Facebook or whatever. When you see the BBL updates, I'd like to see that for each team. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Rather than the BBL do it on behalf of all the teams.
It should be a rising tide where they all have to step up their game and stuff.
But so what's going on then? So, I mean, I'll be honest, when I read it, my initial thought was, this comes across to me, and this is just my view, it comes across to me like they want the club the league to be sold. Like, who is it who's not done the insurance, the license thing? Who's that?
The BBF. So they're the people.
So the BBF, they don't want 777 to go through another season with the BBL and all the clubs.
Yeah. So they've basically just.
And so they've just gone, this is nuclear, button pressed, go. Let's see what happens. Because they're kind of forcing. Are they forcing 777 to sell now? To sell the club? Does it force them to sell?
Well, they just own a worthless asset, essentially.
But the club, do you have to have this license from the BBF? Can you say, yeah,
to operate, yeah.
Why don't they just say, well, we're going to just, the BBL just don't get your license by you?
So this is the way I explained it to someone, and there's a few people who contacted saying, what do we know? We're like, well, they won't tell us because we'll say it straight away. No, we wouldn't. But
allegedly we wouldn't.
But
if they asked us not to, I wouldn't. But why would they tell us so? Don't tell anyone.
Okay, so here's the reality. A lot of people don't know because they don't know. And if they think they know, they don't. So the only analogy I could use is in the UK, for our non-UK listeners, if you own a pub, and that's a public house, you have to have a license for that. And the license
or a bar.
Yeah, and that'll be a name above the door, won't it? And so every pub will have licensee, licenser, and it'll have it above the door. You can't serve alcohol without having a liquor license, and that's the licensee. So it doesn't matter who owns that.
But why do I have to get a license to play basketball?
Because the league is run by FIBA, and FIBA, each country.
But can I play a BBL league without being under the FIBA umbrella? That's where I got to in my head.
No, because it won't be a recognised league.
Well, there you go. But the league could carry on in the UK.
Of course it could. But if it's not a recognised league, what does a recognised league mean? It's worth money.
Yeah.
So you've basically said you've devalued the league by, I own this team, so it's worth like 3 million.
They buy it for $7 million.
They bought 45% of the league for $7 million, and then they've guaranteed putting some certain additional funds into it along the way. So the value of their shares might be whatever they are, but they also own London Lions wholly. And
Manchester in it?
Well, because they own the league, the Manchester's rights go to the league currently, so they own the majority of that. But it doesn't mean that they own Manchester. It's not the same thing. So that's what they have in their assets. Because they don't own the Copper Box. The Copper Box is rented. They don't own it. But this is where it gets interesting. So the reason that I say about the pub is, as you said, can I play on? Well, yeah, of course you can. So if you say, I own this pub, I'm going to take away your license that you can't serve beer there. Okay. Well, you can still own the pub. You just can't use it as a pub. You can't do anything with it. Now, the new person who wants to buy that and run it as a pub, I can't give them a license until your license is gone, because two people can't be licensed to do the same thing.
Okay.
So
They're forced.
fraudulent and financial issues.
Now,
here's the interesting bit. Here's the interesting bit.
I've got a conspiracy
You can
theory.
give it to me.
Just
Give it
just
to me
made
in
it up.
this. So we've just had Biffa come on board, right? In terms of an investor, and they're investing into the basketball league, and they've sent like a 3 or 4 year deal. So that was great news.
The dump truck's moving in.
Exactly. Yeah, to clear up the
Dump
waste.
truck's moving in and clear out the waste.
Now, apparently, there have been allegedly there has been talk of certain investors who are
The lawyers say you have to say
allegedly.
or you'll get in trouble.
I would just like to point out we don't have lawyers in the UK. We have solicitors. Lawyers don't exist in the UK.
Yeah, I said that for our American listeners.
But what I would say is the person or persons who wish to invest in the league are already there. They've got money. They're ready to go. But, and I can understand this, would you want to invest in something where the people who currently own it allegedly are under these investigations? And these investigations are serious, like big investigations. Like it's over in America that they are up and like, I think it's fraud charges, like 17 of them. And it's like big money laundering, all sorts of, so they're all, it's alleged. Obviously we don't know any of those, but would you as an investor want to invest into it while
You'd buy them out.
That's the thing. So in order to buy them out, you've got to get rid of, it's kind of like cancelling the history. You've got to get rid of them and the associations. So the league is licensed to a certain company in the UK. So if the league takes away that license from that company can't operate the league anymore. But if you, Paul, decides I've got this money, I'm going to buy the league.
If I win the Euros, I'll buy the
league.
league.
You can buy the league.
Yeah.
And then they go,
Yeah.
give me a company and we'll assign the license to that league. Done. There you go.
Paul, can I call it Paul's BBL League? Paul's BBL.
BBL. But so that is basically, and as soon as you look at it in terms of a business sense, it makes perfect reason why they would say, we don't want to put our money in a pot where that pot is still associated with people that are under investigation. And that's all it comes down to. Whether they're alleged, whether they've done anything or not, they're under investigation. And we've seen it across lots of things, haven't they? When if someone's alleged to have done something, if they're a movie star, cut ties.
Cancelled. Not in modern world.
Exactly. So that's why if you are an investor and they've got money there, and let's be fair, if you're an investor, this is a great position, a great opportunity, because let's look at the positives, because we want to be positive about basketball.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like they bought it for 7 mil. Like what's that worth 10, now?
At least.
Oh, so they'll make money on it.
It's like putting a plaster over the iceberg hole kind of thing. The money that they're going out, their debts are hundreds of millions. So.
See, I've got a conspiracy theory for you now.
Well,
is this
Rogan.
all organized? Is it all organised to get rid of 777? Is it organised with the license? Like, get rid of the license, that will help speed things up.
Yes. It's not conspiracy, it's a fact. It's the way to do it. We've just taken their license away. And it's almost like when people grum together and what do you call it in military terms when the people who are...
What do you call it when people get together? You didn't want to hear the word I was going to say.
What do you get it when you have in military? It's like it's a coup, isn't it? Where they say the person who's above, who's in control, I'm relieving you of your command, sort of thing, because you're not operating under whatever it is. That is essentially what they've done, because it looks like allegedly a lot of the clubs, along with any of the other sponsors or potential people, have gone, we've got to separate, because we've got people who want to buy this, and then we can carry on. And then what's going on with the football and any of that stuff is not going to affect it. Now,
you got to say for our listeners, allegedly, when we talk to a lot of people, a lot of people when we're interviewing them for the podcast, but we also talk to them off air as well. When we talk about 777, definitely more recently, there's a little spark in people's eye. You've noticed it, haven't you? And we've talked about it. Like every time we bring up this subject, it's like this topic no one wants to talk about on air, maybe, but it's just I don't know. It's just like everyone knows something, like something's going to go. So when I heard that, I went, "Oh right, this is it." Then this is the twinkle in the eye that everyone's been having. So yeah,
let's look on the positive.
So who's going to buy it then? You reckon Biffa's going to buy it?
No. So they've put in a good chunk of cash, and Biffa have done. We're going to support this going forward. What I thought was interesting is that they announced Biffa doing this, but the British Basketball Federation would have known about Biffa being involved in this. So if they were going to terminate the league license, if it was like a genuine, the league's over, we don't know what's going to happen, they wouldn't have let them announce a sponsor for the next 3 years and then say, oh, by the way, we're going to cancel the league, unless they've already got someone lined up. So that added 1 + 1 = fish kind of scenario. So that's a positive. 2, 1 + 1 = fish.
1 + 1 = fish.
I say that to Emily, she loves it. But when you also then look at the fact of, if the league's gone and now it's getting rebuilt again, well, what happens to all the players' contracts? Because a lot of players are on only 1-year contracts.
What happens?
Well, I think a lot of people want to go back to 0, but it's a great chance to go. Some of these teams who have very, very large contracts just happen to be associated with the people that are leaving.
Are you saying it's going to be the league next year is about to get very competitive?
I really am.
That's a good thing. Wow. Do you reckon Matt Morgan might sign for another team?
If I was one of those players right now,
that would be a bombshell, wouldn't it?
Well, Sam Decker put one of the things out saying, in life, you got to look after number one. With loyalty.
When did he put that out?
A day or two ago. And you go, yeah.
Okay.
And you look at that and go, you don't put something like that out there on social media in this day and age without knowing that tells a message and it has a consequence. Like if I was an athlete, unless I did something...
Say that again really carefully, what you said.
I'm going to
go and find it.
But unless you're an athlete who is, the richest person on the planet and you won't care about comeback. I would never really, I'm not to say interact with social media, but I really try and stay away from it.
No, but we know athletes, and I think the one person who said it best said to me, you have to be so careful with online, but he goes, I can like something without having to like it. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
That was a good way of phrasing it, because it was basically like you're avoiding now. Let's see what this says, what he's put. It'll be interesting if it's still on there.
No, I can't find it. It's ticked
what?
over. It's one of the stories, so I guess it ticked over. I'm seeing if I can find it.
But what was it on?
Instagram.
Well, go on Instagram, type Sam Decker.
Yeah, I did. But it was in one of his stories, so it's clicked over. They only last for 24 hours.
So what did it say? Allegedly, do you think it said? You got to look after number one.
Yep. Yeah, it did. I'm literally trying to find it because I'm sure.
Well, that could suggest two things.
I'm not going to lie. I saw it on one of the ones where it was someone sending memes and it was hilarious. And I thought, oh, it can't be real. And then I went on his page and went, oh, okay. And his feet in an ice bath. And he's like, the most important thing you got to do more than anything else, got to look after, like.
Well, hang on. Was he talking about his feet or was he talking about the income?
That's what I'm saying. If you put something with all of this going on, and it was like the most important thing you can do is like not trusting people or putting things like that, and you look at it and go, the way the wording was, and then you had like tiny little bits of writing and stuff all around.
So what was the picture? The picture was his feet in ice. I don't know then. The way you said it before is like, I could just be talking about looking after his body.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is putting stuff out there like that is too easy to misinterpret, because it was talking about...
Was it recently or was it after the playoffs?
It was literally a day or so ago. It was only like a day and a half ago when all this kicked off. and it's about like trusting, and the only person that you can put your faith in or look after is yourself, and something like that. And you go,
yeah, I mean, you could look at that two
there
ways.
could be something
just
personal in his life.
Look after your body. Or it could be I'm being stitched up here with my contract.
When you have got that announcement going out in the league,
and
then you're putting things like that out there about trusting, and the only person who can look after is yourself.
Because he gets paid pretty well, doesn't he?
What I'm saying is, that's where a lot of people go, well, this isn't a coincidence.
So someone's saying
and
you're not getting paid.
A lot of people are putting memes in going, like saying, oh, off they go. And they're getting on the plane they go, and, you know, like dynamite signs, like here goes the team, and off, you know, people are then now, and this is the harsh thing.
I shouldn't have said pretty.
No, you shouldn't. Here's the harsh thing. Some of the players are putting like
extremely.
There's a picture of our like final shot in the playoffs, or here's a picture of us doing really well, or here's a dunk, and it's not just the Lions, it's some other players as well, and they're doing highlights, and you know the league's sending all these highlights from the season, and you know we've talked about it with other players, and some of the coaches saying, you know, I think Dale said it best, in between the season starting and ending, there's a whole gap where you go, we've got to drip feed media to keep the fans entertained and keep people going.
Dale is GM media, full media, Adelaide.
Yeah, go listen to his episodes. They look cool. And he,
you say that a lot. You say names. I know who you're talking about.
Dale rides a kangaroo to work. What an awesome guy. But he said about, you know, drip feeding that information to keep everyone engaged and make sure that people are understanding when stuff starts, when it stops. And that's what the league's trying to do. So people are jumping on that and saying to the players, and I think this is harsh, you might think it's funny, that one of the players will say, oh, that was a great moment. Oh, that was a brilliant highlight of mine. Or I was so proud of this shot. Then someone will come in there because it's social media and go, where are you playing next year? Stuff like that. What country you're playing in? And you think that's really harsh. And that wouldn't have happened until this announcement came out. But you go, there's a direct team that's when the league goes.
Just a bit of banter, I think. I mean,
it's harsh. It's a little harsh.
Some of these people on social media, they wouldn't say that to their faces.
Of course they wouldn't. A lot of them are wimps, aren't they? But it's just, it's a little, you go, that was a good shot. That was a good moment. And then the first thing is, because of this announcement, it dirties the water. So,
So where are you going with this? What's happening then? When are we going to know more? So what's with 7-7? They've just gone underground.
777 have gone completely underground.
Going underground.
But do you know who else has gone underground?
They're listening to the
Who
jam.
else has gone underground? You're looking at me like really shocked.
No, I was going to say a few names in, but then I thought,
who's gone underground?
I'm not going to do it. No, I was going to say some names that I shouldn't say for a laugh, but no, go on.
Well,
who's gone underground?
Where's the CEO of the league?
Of
the BBL?
BBL.
Aaron Rankin.
He's on holiday. Season's over, Mark. He's on holiday.
So this is the one thing that a lot of people are saying. Where is he? Why is he not answering? Why is he not addressing
this? Was football. It'd be
huge. This would be gigantic.
Mental.
And you look at it and go, the way in which you've said it, everyone has the same communication. The CEO hasn't said one word. And then,
which is why I think orchestrated.
The route,
and everyone's in on it. Everyone
are now saying allegedly. People are now allegedly saying he wasn't.
How many times have we said allegedly?
Allegedly more than 20. Allegedly that he gets paid from 777. Yeah.
Oh dear.
So he doesn't get paid by the league. He gets paid by 777.
Oh, he's probably not turning up to work then. He's like, see you later. Contract's over.
He might not. Here's the one I say the sad reality. He might not have got. He might have got a bit of pay from them, but he might be missing pay himself because the rumor is that they may not have paid people on time, or some people paid at all. There are people with outstanding invoices, and that's why all of this is kicked off. And that's where the football went. Well, you own this business and you're not paying anyone, and that's what raised the flag.
Mark, we need to get the BBL on it. BBL Weekly might have to go another week.
If you want to be a whistleblower, you give us a call.
I think let's go to the top. Let's go to the top and say, come on the show.
Well,
and read the statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be really interesting. It'd be interesting to know, because no one wants it to fail. If someone's not doing a good job, fine, out you go, replace you. But you can't argue that what he did as a CEO, he brought in media rights in a couple of, I think it was 2 big networks in America. That wouldn't have been easy to do. And that's really what his job is. His job isn't to run the league. His job is to promote the league and get money into the league. What does Adam Silver do? Does Adam Silver do anything with reffing or no? Adam Silver makes the deals with NBC.
Adam Silver gets involved. If it's going to be a sweep, he goes to those refs and goes. Still, he's like, fellas, here's a bit of cash.
Oh,
I don't want it. I don't want any sweeps.
Oh, he's paying the refs now.
Next.
I thought the refs just got the bookies to pay him.
Next.
Wow.
He said he has a little word with him and say, lads, look, we want this series to go on a little
He is
bit
a puppet
longer.
master.
No sweeps. No sweeps.
He's definitely
lads.
the puppet master, sure. But no, look, I mean,
I think that Lakers game, that was in 2000. Who was that against? Lakers won, and they shouldn't have won it. And they reckon that was one of the ones where they went, no, we want it to go to
LeBron.
Early 2000s.
Oh, what?
So
Kobe.
This is Kobe and Shaq. There's one game in particular. Damn it. I want to say Spurs off the top of my head. There's one game in
That would have
particular
been around the time.
which everyone looks at and goes, I'm sure I've even heard a ref talking
Well,
about
the
that
2000s
game,
were Lakers and Spurs, wasn't it? That was the...
about extending it. And he goes, we just want to extend it. And then, well, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we're
No,
going
not at all, because I think we're talking about entertainment. And this is what basketball is. Basketball is an entertainment sport. So Aaron's done his part in terms of that. People have said he maybe gets paid like, crazy money, like 300-400 grand. But you go, if he brought in 4 million for TV rights, as an example, and let's say he gets paid 400,000. Well, that's like 10% commission. If you were a salesperson and you said you're a salesperson, you get 10% commission, you go, that's fair. Well, he would have done the same thing, and he probably would have brought in a substantial amount of money to the league, getting TV rights. So maybe that's because I'm an ex-salesman, but I see it as that's fair money.
Mark, sell me this basketball.
Well, you know that
You're going to throw it at my head then. That's what I was
the
waiting
old
for.
game of how you do sell something, don't you? You don't sell them it's like you don't sell them the drill, you sell them the hole.
What? I want you to sell me a basketball. Now you're selling me a drill and a hole. I just taken the basketball. I got it free.
No, you sell them you sell them what the result is, not the. It's like you tell them the problem. You're not with me at all, are you?
I want a basketball. What's my problem? I'm going to score a basket. That is the hole.
What,
Is that
do you
what
think
mean?
you could make a shot from here on this?
No, man.
You couldn't.
No.
So if I gave you the ball, you wouldn't be able to make a shot.
No, because it's round the corner from where I'm
But
sat.
if I put a ring over there, would you be able to make a shot?
I could give it
You
a try.
want to give it a try?
Yes.
Well, you need a ball for that, don't you?
Yeah.
Quid.
Is this supply and demand?
That's the
There you go.
basic standard. But you don't do that.
Supply and
You
demand.
sell the hole, not the drill. That's the old saying. But
Right.
the way I see the league, it's ending, and I think which is the perfect time for us to end it, is positive. Because if they had some money and it has been injected, it's raised a bit of the level in the BBL, and the media certainly in some of those things, they've been really, really good. You've got teams like, say, Newcastle, Leicester, Plymouth, they're all, and Surrey, well, let's not forget, all of these teams are quite embedded in their communities. So you've got all of those people who really want the teams to do well.
Teams aren't
going anywhere. They want to do well. If you're an investor right now and you're thinking, should I invest in the BBL? It's like there is a market there that want it to do well. They just need the stability. So now look at Biffa, who's come on board, without being not disrespectful, but Biffa do like waste management and bins. We will always have waste in our society. Thus, it's a really sustainable business to back the league. So who would you want? Something that's a fly-by company or someone who's going to be here for 20, 30 years?
Yeah.
So
Makes
let's get
sense.
more people involved like that. And if you're one of the people on the fence investing, and you randomly hear us,
Wow.
invest.
There you go. I wanna have a little personal chat to Burger King. If you're thinking of investor in the BBL, that is a good place. Imagine a big Burger King sign on the court, and then when an opposing team travels to a home team, they go to shoot 2 free throws. The whole crowd, you get 6,000 people. Burger King.
But who was it
Burger
historically?
King.
Is it Heineken and Nationwide?
No, it was
And
the Budweiser
League.
League.
Yes,
It was the
yes.
Budweiser League, the BBL. That was back in the 80s. That's what I remember, the Budweiser League. And it didn't. I'm sure there was another beer.
I mean, look, if you take away cigarettes and alcohol,
Haribo. Imagine
Yeah.
Haribo on the court. Haribo. Haribo.
that'd be amazing.
Haribo. That'd be
Yeah.
great. So when I'm chanting, this is what. I mean, it's in one of the shows, but it's what the owner of the league in Australia is Hungry Jack's, which is like Burger King basically, and they give out free burgers, just one burger, if the away team missed 2 free throws. Well, that's what Adelaide did anyway. But you got 10,000 people chanting your brand live on TV, and it was bloody loud as well. And then exactly like when we spoke to the Adelaide 36ers, it was like they go home, they
Yep.
buy chips, they buy another
Yep.
milkshake, then they buy an ice cream or a coffee, and they're making their money back. Look, I think that would be amazing
Positive.
to see in the UK. I genuinely believe. I think the Australian model is what the BBL should be aiming to achieve. Got 10 teams in the league.
exactly the same.
They're getting the lowest attendance is what, 6,000, 5,000, 6,000. So it feels like the model we should be aiming for.
Well, funny enough, you say about the Hungry Jacks or Burger King, because Subway
Yeah.
have been sponsoring quite a lot to do with basketball in the UK. GB.
Subway. Like that.
Maybe. Well, wouldn't it be Subway? Subway.
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 But
But
Very
yeah,
good one.
Subway have been doing some stuff there. So you go, that could be something that goes to the BBL, because they've been doing stuff with GB basketball. So that I mean,
Yeah.
amazing. But again,
Just
something that's,
yeah.
I mean, food orientated is usually positive, but that would be a good thing to have.
I'd like with the shirts that I've seen. Look, this is an Australian shirt that we've got here. I even said Australian like an Australian there. It's an Australian shirt there, Mark. But look, Hungry Jacks with the NBL logo on the shirt. Every home kit's got that.
Yeah.
So your brand is everywhere.
100%.
Everyone's walking around with that on. And then you got it on the court. You got everyone screaming it. It's on TV. Everyone's getting free burgers. If it
The
happens.
one I've always liked is the Formula One, when they do the shirts and they have the all of the logos and sponsors down one side. It always just like a panel. Kind of looks cool.
Dun, 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 dun,
Name that song.
It's a Fleetwood Mac song, isn't it? It's a Fleetwood Mac song, but it's not actually the Fleetwood Mac song. It's at the end
Yeah.
of the song, from what I remember. But I couldn't tell you
Hello.
what song it is. No, that's another song.
But look, totally off topic. The main thing is, I think the future in basketball UK is good, and I think it actually could be really positive. We've had some good conversations about things today with guests that we've got coming up on the show, and
No, I can't
I think
remember.
there's
I don't know. What is it?
I don't know off the top of my head. I just did that to wind you up. But yeah, I think the future is really good for basketball in terms of getting some fresh blood in, should we say? It can't hurt, can it?
No, yeah, I've just worked it out. It's the chain, Mark.
Oh, is that what you worked out? Did you?
The chain Fleetwood Mac.
How did your phone? How quickly did that find it out?
No, I was looking at something else. I wasn't looking
No.
that up. Was not
I
looking
would
that
say you
up.
look surprised at that,
I
but
was-
you've only got one eyebrow, so I don't know how surprise works in that basis.
Look, I don't care. I'm at a point in my life you could shave my eyebrows off, and I don't give a damn.
Shave the other one off then.
No,
I would have just even it up a bit and go, look, I just made a terrible mistake.
I did think about trying to get it a bit level, but then I thought, oh God, who gives a
Why don't you do like
crap?
that one line, like Jason Momoa, just do a line through your eyebrow.
You know what? I went through 6 hours of coaching and not a single person mentioned it. And I was like, man, we're really accepted in the UK, or it's not that bad.
Wow. Okay. Look,
You're facing me, so it's quite...
when I saw you on video call, it was like, holy, that's Uncle Fester. Like there was nothing there, but it just looks shorter than I would have anticipated cutting it.
Like I said, you can tell. You could say 1 + 1 is 5, and I go.
If you did both of
See you
them,
later.
if you
No
did
worries.
both of them,
Have a
it
nice
wouldn't
day.
make too much difference. But
I am not. Look, I'm not falling for that little gag. I'm not falling for that little gag. Just shave the other one. We'll go
just
do
I'm
it
saying
now.
even it up. But what's
No.
going to happen when that one grows through? Are you then going to shave again? When you shave next time, you're going to be like, that is getting sellotaped on.
Well, I don't say shave. I'm not shaving.
Well,
it.
how
It's
does
just
it-
like a razor. I
Well,
don't
what
want to
does
look
a
like,
razor
you know,
do?
like really, you know, the
What
really
does a
old
razor
people
do?
that just
Doesn't
eyebrows
tickle it,
just
does
hanging.
it? It shaves it.
It cuts it. It cuts it.
It's shaving.
Look, I'll get next time you come around my house. I'll get the little, and we'll do
That
some.
is not
your
hygienic to
eyebrows.
use your trimming
Let's-
equipment. Yeah, exactly. You trim all sorts of things of that. You shave your legs and all sorts. I'm not doing that.
Dear. Oh dear, I don't shave my legs.
I had my legs
Right.
shaved once, completely by accident. I was drunk in a bath and someone put a wax strip on my leg and then they just whipped it off.
Oh.
Do you know? No, the worst bit was the next day I was in work and I had my legs up on the counter and I was just sat there on the phone and people kept walking past laughing at me. It was Casual Friday and I couldn't work out why. And then they were like, do you often wax your legs? I was like, what are you talking about? And I looked down and that's when I noticed it. So I'd gone for a whole...
Was it a strip or
it was
the
a
whole leg?
whole strip. And then they shaved round
a
it.
big
No, they
strip.
shaved round it just for fun. And I apparently sort of roused when they did it, so they stopped. But like I had a whole massive panel on my leg.
Aroused.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
You were aroused
No.
when they did it.
I roused. I came round. It was not. It was yeah. So I sat there
Oh,
with one
dear.
big stripe down my leg. That was a bad day for me.
Wonderful.
Not at all. So positive things
Right.
for the league. And I don't think necessarily it means we're going to have expansion this year. I think that's the one thing we can pretty much agree on.
Times are a changing.
Times are a changing. So let's see what we have. Maybe next week there'll be another update. What
Bob
would you
Dylan.
do? That's my only question this week was, what would you do if you were now like interim the head of the league as it stands right now?
Go on a court and shoot.
What?
That's the first thing I'd do. Go on a court and just shoot around. Go, man, I'm on a BBL court shooting around. This is cool. This is
Okay.
cool.
What would you do about the league?
I'd phone Burger King up or Subway. Say, come on, join on.
What would you do for the fans?
Oh, I'd have a media face out there. I'd be trying to encourage the team to have a media face. You don't really have, or you don't have that that broadcasting thing, isn't it? Which is a little odd because we do it with the Portsmouth Force in National League Div 3. I'll just grab
give
the
us a
mic.
shout.
And,
We'll do
I
it.
don't know if it's because it's here, but I'm just sitting there going, yeah, well, you know, even for the after the games, but like it just feels professional basketball. You should have that on the media.
Do you know what?
side of
I'll
things.
say this. I went to Canada when I was 18. And before I went, and I was just on a holiday for a couple of weeks. And my mum said, you don't have to call me. What are you doing? She went, don't worry about calling me. No news is good news, right? So I was like, okay, great. Then I came back and she went, oh, you didn't give me a call. I was like, well, you said no news is good news. She's like, well, you could have been dead. It's like, but I'm here though, so you don't have to be worried about that. But I can. It's a double-edged sword. If they don't know what's happening, they can't say what's happening. But it just seems odd that no teams are really.
Everything that I've ever been involved with, where there's been acquisitions and
Yeah.
stuff like that, that process takes a while.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that is what I would like to think is going on. There's an acquisition going on now. No one's talking anything because everyone wants it to go through. Everyone's
Yep.
keeping quiet and going, right, let's just let this go through. And yeah, you know, those things take time. You've got a lot of solicitors around the table, or lawyers.
Yep.
If they're from America. And let's see what happens.
So I think that's where they are, but that's why I think most of the people are really upset, because no one can say anything, but no one knows. So it's like everyone's left.
So basically, BBL Weekly this week
Drama.
is just low.
We don't know. But
don't
that
know.
is basically why everyone is so up in arms. And I think for anyone who is a fan or isn't sure, it's like, don't worry about it.
But thank you for all the messages. I felt special for an entire evening. Right.
Oh no.
Why you
The last
say
time
that?
we did that was a snowflake warning. So I was wondering.
Oh, that is a snowflake warning. That wasn't for the snowflakes. That was just to give you a gap. Are we talking about anything else?
We'll just get it out of the way.
What?
The NBA is playing tonight. Dallas Mavericks.
So when you listen to this, the result
the
was
result is already
happened.
out. Dallas managed to secure a game and actually played, and I was happy and really angry at the same time.
Why were you angry?
Because they should have done that in Game 3. In Game 3, they just didn't step up at all, and they let Boston control the game. Game 4, they took it. They won by 38 points in Game 4, so it wasn't just like a comfortable thing. So
Exactly. The NBA want silver. He wants that series.
No, it was Q4,
Extended.
Q1. It was Q1. You look at Q1, they were absolutely dominant. I think it was 25 points ahead in Q1. They absolutely flew out the gate, and Boston just weren't expecting it at all. And then they just kept the distance and extended it a little bit. But they absolutely played their socks off. So the problem is, now they're back in Boston. Now it's Game 5. They're 3-1 down. Also, Boston are 3-1 up. So the Dallas would now have to win 3 games in a row if they're going to win a championship. I mean, no one's done that in history at all.
Yeah.
So here's the stat that I saw, and I can't remember who it was, so I'd love to credit you, but I cannot think who it was. It might be Hoops Nation, it might be THV. But they said no team has come back from a 3-0 down and won, or 3-1 down and won it. No team has come back from a 35-point loss and won a title. So they both have a stat that you go,
history's on Boston's side. Come on. Boston are winning this. Boston
if you
are
was
winning
being
this.
statistically, yeah.
What I am going to say is
They
because
have to
of
win tonight.
the day we're recording the shows, you're not going to like this. Because of the days we're calling the shows, recording, after Game 3, Luka was crap. Now, he's been getting a lot of, Luka, he's amazing. Stop whinging to the refs.
Yeah, he's got to grow up there.
He stopped whinging to the refs, and I think even his own players were starting to call him out and just saying, start to play some bloody defense.
Yep,
and
100%.
stop whinging to the refs. That was the general gist, I think, of what everyone felt watching the game.
That was Game 3, 100%.
But I had another thought.
Which is?
He's a great player.
Yeah.
A generational player.
Yep.
And he reminds me of someone now.
Okay.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yep. Okay, I could see that. Great shooter.
James Harden. He reminds me of that category of player now. Players who are great players, generational players, absolute stars, almost certainly will be Hall of Famers one day, perhaps.
Yeah. I can see Carmelo.
Don't
Not
play
as much-
defense.
Not as much Hardman, but I can see what you're saying.
Don't
Hardman.
play defense.
Yeah.
Don't win a ring.
Yeah, potentially.
And I can't help, after Game 3 and watching that, I was just like, man, it just reminds me of these guys.
His Game 3 was...
Give me the ball and I'll shoot. Give me the ball. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. I think the best way to describe it was dog shit. That's the only way you can describe how he played. And it was all on
I'd say
him.
bullshit.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. The supporting cast around him, they shouldn't have lost Game 3 because at
What
one
kind
point,
of dog though? Like poodle,
No,
Labrador,
just a dog that no one likes.
like Great Dane, like
One of those dogs
massive pile of crap.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was just not good at all, and all of his supporting cast around him were doing really well, and that was the bit that annoyed me. They were playing at home. Boston won the first 2 games. That's what they were supposed to do. They were playing at home. They should have won those 2 games. Dallas should have won their 2 games. Then you go, now we've got to see. But they let Boston in, and they just didn't play. And he's 25, so he's got to take that on and go, we have to come out and we have to be better. I have to play better. Game 4, he did that. He played better defense. He actually put some effort into defense. So you can't argue with that. But I would say the supporting cast stepped up. That was the big thing. When you got Derek Lively, what a superb rookie they've got in there. He's just so, once he's just charismatic, but he's when they're looking like, I'm just going to throw that ball up, that's where he is. And he's playing with them so well.
I think Boston have a lot of bad habits that crop up every now and then.
Oh, they do. Oh, we've got to give a shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. as well.
So
amazing.
Game 3,
banging in threes.
Fourth quarter in particular.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what happened there with Boston Celtics. I think it was they gave up a 22-2 run.
Yeah.
They got Dallas back into within the point, and then they started, locking up in defense down the stretch to win the game. But you know that it still keeps coming back every now and then.
I don't, to be honest.
But the Celtics are inevitable, Mark. It is inevitable. Doesn't matter if Porzingis is there or not. It's fine.
No, I don't.
They're going to win it.
Porzingis doesn't make a difference.
Even though Kyrie found his offense in Game 3, it didn't matter. They had that.
Nah.
They had that shaky fourth quarter. Didn't matter.
Look, bottom line is Dallas got within 2 points in that Game 3. They should have taken it, but they didn't. They just didn't. Luka didn't play well, and that's on him. He lost their Game 3 for them. That's it. Game 4, arguably he helped set the pace, and then the team just all took over. So I would like to. I genuinely, not just as a Mavs fan, I would love to see them win, because if they win, they're then going back to Dallas, and it's 3-2, and that game will be like the final game.
Oh yeah, I mean, like every game's Game 7 for them, isn't it? Really,
and that's the thing. I don't want it to. Well, not I don't want it to be, but if it goes to a 7-game series, I still think the odds are in Boston, which every single odd is going to be in Boston's favour. Right
no
now.
one's done it, and I think the Celtics got over the hump in Game 3 by getting that third win.
Oh, that's
the Mavs
crucial.
have got to win 2 games at the Garden. Not just 1, 2 games in the Garden now to take the title.
But what if they win that title though? Let's just hypothetically, if they won that title.
Yeah, it would be the greatest comeback of all time. But Mark, look, that 18th banner
of all time.
That 18th banner. Well, no one's done it. No one's come back from 3-0 before.
The greatest comeback of all time.
It's got to be. No one's come back from 3-0. I mean, you've got LeBron's one.
That was 3-1,
which was 3-1. He came back. People argued that who was out? Was it Green was out in Game 5? He came back. I mean, LeBron was amazing for that series, and then you got that Kyrie Irving great shot in Game 7 to win it. But no one's come down from 3-0. But look, Mark, no one. The Mavs aren't winning this. They're preparing. They're making the 18th banner now, I think.
So when everyone's listening to this tomorrow, you're saying it's in Boston tonight. Boston are winning it.
Yeah, I think I will say that. Yeah, I'm fairly confident. Boston, and you know what? If Boston are going to win it, it'll be nice if they do it in the Garden. And they're going to get their 18th banner. And
it must suck, actually, just thinking about it, if you win in a different stadium to your home game. Because you would just want to win at home, wouldn't you? Because then it would just go absolutely crazy. You don't want to be winning in the opposition stadium. Although, obviously you want to win, don't you? But
damn it, I was trying to find something. I found something online. I always take it with a pinch of salt, but because I'm like, oh, who knows? But Charles Barkley was holding up a thing saying Mavs in 7, and I was no. That's it. Celtics are winning Game 5.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. You just you said it was going to be a sweep the last time. He's retiring. He said he's retiring officially.
Yeah, he is, and I think he is a great asset to the media for basketball. I'd love seeing Charles Barkley. I love the interactions he has. Especially with Shaquille O'Neal, that's great. And for him to retire,
and Ernie and Kenny, just having them all four of them
they're
as a
great
panel.
Chemistry. And I think it's a great loss to media that he's retiring. Yeah. But that says something about him. I think he's a great character.
I like the way he's doing it, though, because a lot of people are saying, oh, what's happened? And he's like, well, Ernie's going to stay within TNT because he's been at TNT for like 30 years, I think. Something. So he's been there a long time. And Chuck's like, I've done 25 years with this. I'm going, this is how I want to leave it. I don't want to do anymore. If I can't broadcast with them, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and that's nice.
And what a nice way to do it.
I've got a few more updates for you, Mark.
Do it.
Jason Tatum, he's already scored more playoff points than Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Kevin Garnett, Paul George, Allen Iverson, Jimmy Butler, Paul Gasol. Boom. Fact.
Really?
Yeah. Little stat for you.
I mean, yeah. A lot of people have criticised him, I think, unfairly. Just because they look at the stats, 17 points in a game, and then, he's only done this or he's only done that. But you go, even if he scored 8 points, I mean, maybe that's a bit low, but they could be the 8 points that you win by. So then surely he's the most valuable player. So, well, I think it's very critical when people look at players and just say, what is your output? And that's it. That's all they look at. Because if you looked at someone like a Rodman, you go, his output is just 20 rebounds. That's it. You go, no. It was more than anything. More than just a little one stat line.
Well, that's a great segue for some more stats I've got for you. Jaylen Brown, on top of being the highest paid NBA player, it's $304 million over 5 years. Yep. He set a great example for student athletes of the future. So when evaluating Jaylen Brown at Cal Berkeley, some NBA scouts were worried that he could get bored with basketball. Why? Top of his class.
Yep.
Offered a NASA internship.
Mm-hmm.
He played on the chess team. Did you know that?
Yep.
Master's class in first semester at Berkeley. Youngest person to ever lecture at Harvard.
He does a robotics course as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Oh yeah, he's a genius. But he also is, when you heard him in a couple of interviews, you said it about the other week where Shaq said something to him and he broke it down for him because he didn't understand it. And it makes sense because when you have people who have that level of intellect, sometimes some of the simplest things maybe bypass them.
And I don't know if this is true. I haven't verified this stat. Luka Doncic's free throw shooting, Mark, because I know you're a huge free throw.
Mm-hmm.
You love your free throws, don't you?
Love them.
And you don't like people who miss free throws, do you?
Well, Luka's a bit shocking at the moment.
You're going to take the guy you always go on about. He is, with his free throw shooting in the NBA Finals, is worse than Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq had 48.4%.
46, I think.
Is 46.2.
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
Worse than Shaq.
Yeah, that's terrible. That is literally inexcusable. For the guy who we've seen hit some, well, they call it Luka Magic, don't they? Where he's hit some of those shots you think, I've never seen anyone shoot like that. It's inexcusable to miss free throws. There
you go. That's nice little bits of facts I gave you there, wasn't it? Bit of knowledge.
I like that.
Throwing some knowledge at you.
Yeah, I love a bit of knowledge.
And you're Bronny now training with the Lakers.
No, don't.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. And then yesterday there was a news report out said that the Mavs were actually interested in drafting him because they got 26th pick.
Yeah, but they just want LeBron. That's all it is.
I would imagine anyone who's trying to get him, I don't know if you'd want LeBron or you want the rights to trade him. Because you think of it that way, if you got him, LeBron wants him in Lakers. LeBron's not leaving the Lakers. So you want Bronny for a year to say they've played father and son together.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have seen Bronny play. I saw a video of him training with LeBron yesterday. And
he's like 6 points a game kind of player, isn't he?
He's not going to take the NBA by storm, which is what they're all saying. I think people's hearts want the James legacy to continue, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll be in the league a couple of years, and
that's tough though. Like genuinely, because if you think he obviously had that heart problem, didn't he? And he you know, who's your dad? LeBron James. You're like, oh, okay.
When Michael Jordan's kid had the same thing, he was at college and like, you're Michael Jordan's kid, and he's like, yeah, but it's like you're not one of the best
I'm
players.
not them.
Yeah.
I'm not them. That's it. It's just that's my dad. I'm not my dad. And they go, okay. You go, my dad's like 6'9" and built like an absolute house. It's like, yeah, Bronny's like, I think he's measured at 6'1" or 6'2".
No,
They measured him.
6'1" now.
Yeah, and you go, hang on, I thought you were like 6'3", 6'4". No, 6'1".
He's going to get some wide open shots, and they're going to be like, yeah, he's the next big. Yeah, like, come on.
Yeah,
Let's be realistic.
You're not going to be, and his dad, like by his age, his dad was already in the league. Let's go around that. His dad was already King James in the league, had made a lane for himself. So it's like, you're not your dad. So if he loves basketball, he's grown up with basketball. Obviously, that sort of thing. Steph Curry, his dad was in the NBA. He grew up all around that. Jalen Brunson, same thing. His dad was in the NBA. So those kids have all developed and gone through. There was a whole thing with how many kids, I think it was the NBA did it recently, who father and son duos, people who've been in the league, Scottie Pippen, Scottie Pippen Jr., etc. But it's a bit weird, really, because you go, I don't know many others who that would be.
I just thought of something.
What?
And I got to apologise. I'm being deadly serious now. I am.
You can't say that with that eyebrow.
I am being deadly serious, and I'm gonna we got to do a special sound. What can we do? What's that? Shh, damn it. That wasn't a good sound. That's not a good sound either.
That's not a sound.
Oh. I mean, I don't really know what to press here.
One of them? Or do you want that?
Yeah, that's better. We got to talk about the sad news of Jerry West passing away. Why are you laughing? That's out of order.
I'm not laughing for that. All of those noises that you just played.
I was trying to find a good one. That's what I was saying, and you were screwing it up.
You pressed them, not me.
I was trying to find a good one. I can't see the words. But look, Jerry West, the logo is...
No, Jerry's got a... Surely that's got to be Jerry. You've just got to give him a round of applause. Yeah, I know he's dead, but you've got to give him a round of applause. He's the logo, isn't he?
12th June, passed away. We haven't done an episode. We did it on the 10th, so on the 12th, he passed away. And I mean, that's a sad day for basketball, sad day for the sport, sad day for media. And, the only player in history to get MVP finals MVP, and be on a losing team. He must have been so glad when the Celtics started, when Bill Russell left. It was like, here we go.
Yeah.
But he did end up with one championship, but he was heavily involved in the Lakers when they won all 8 of their championships.
Yes.
With Magic and Kobe and Shaq. And
and with Golden State, I believe.
I think he was an advisor.
Yeah.
I think he was an advisor. But so I'm curious how many rings has he got? Has he got rings for being around? I don't know.
I have to look at that. Because you do sometimes get some with executives and others you don't, do you? So it depends on where you sit in the organization.
And you know what? It's it was very sad that he's passed away, but I loved, and I can't remember who said it. It was one someone in media, they just turned around and said Jerry West would rather die than see the Celtics win another banner. and that's how they said it. And it was like, he was Lakers through and through.
I mean, the only thing that I want to say is sort of sad, but as soon as that came out, you see all the testimonials from all the people, you see all the nice things that people said, and you got people like, you got the legends of like Bill Russell and Wilt and him, and they're just names that will always be. But he's the people say Mr. Clutch and stuff, and all the things he came out with, like everyone says that they're a dog. Well, I'm a wolf and I eat dogs. Like all these like quotes that he came out saying, you think they're brilliant. But then within a day, do you think they're going to change the NBA logo? It's like immediately people start talking about it and you think, come on. No.
Yeah, no, that's the logo. Done.
That's the logo.
Done.
We don't need it.
But and also that logo says history. It says legacy. So why would you change it?
It's got the blue and red, the east and west. It's every single thing in the NBA. It's like, that's just perfect. You can't change it.
We did this a bit late, like after we've done it 5 days after the event, recording this. So, but yeah, I mean, look again. One last one, Mark. Big shout out to Big J West.
Yeah, great show. A few big players gone this year.
Yeah.
But we're not going anywhere. So we've got episodes coming out weekly. So you've got to stay tuned. Maybe go back and check out some of the other episodes we've got. Because we've got 122 of them out at the moment. And they're growing by the week. So I have been Mark.
I hate badminton!
Wow. You sat on that for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I just thought, just get out.
Can't hate it that much though.
Yeah.